welcome back, episode 3 of the budget £800 Yamaha yz125 build series. So, last episode, we got the engine all buttoned up, we've got the suspension in, we've got the wheels and tyres on, swing arm, shocks all on. So today, we want to get ahead, we've got a rebuild kit, all balls racing for the carburetor, so we want to get the carb on. We're going to get the whole back end of the bike back up, and then we're going to sort out the levers, the clutch. We want to sort out the brake lines, so we've got a new set of brake lines. We've got a rebuild kit for the rear caliper, so we've got that. So what we're going to do, let's get cracking with the carburetor, let's get this rebuilt and go from there. So what we're doing now is removing the breather lines, and we've got an all balls racing carburetor rebuild kit. And it was at this point we've got a big problem. So as you can see, the bolt is actually snapped off inside the actual carburetor, so I cannot get the float bolt out. So then I can't rebuild the carb because there's a snap bolt in there, and I haven't realised until this second when I've actually looked at the carb. So yeah, this is going to be a problem for another day. So all what we're doing now is we've got a brand new throttle cable, so we're just going to put this into the original slide, put it all back together, make sure it snaps back nice and smoothly, and then we're just going to have to put it on the bike as is, see what it runs like, and then we're going to find a machine shop that maybe can drill that little snap bolt out of there, because I don't want to mess with the carb unless I've got another one. So if I break it, I can just chuck the new one on. So we're going to run it as it is at the moment. So yeah, all we're doing now is putting the new throttle cable inside the slide. So that's the carb all rebuilt for now. Like I said, we need to go ahead and get this bottom snap bolt out, but the carb's all installed, the throttle cable's all installed, so we'll go ahead, install the carb onto the bike, and then we can put the subframe on, and then we need to start wiring, well, not wiring, but sorting all the sort of wiring out, and like where the CDI box, that all needs mounting in the right place. So we'll go ahead, stick the carb on, and then we can stick the airbox and subframe on and go from there. So on goes the carburetor. All we have to do is just a little sort of wiggle, get the Jubilee clamps all lined up, and then all we have to go and do is tighten the Jubilee clamp like so. So now all what we got to go ahead and do is get the airbox and the subframe. I keep the airbox mounted to the subframe. Just makes it so much easier to line the carburetor up with the airbox because it all just slides in one go. So once you've got that lined up, then get your bolts, bottom, put the two bottom ones in, then get your top one. And then literally just tighten them up, and then that's the airbox, subframe all on in one go. Just cannot complain. And just like that, that is loosely the rear end put back on. Obviously we've still got to order some little bits and bobs like the bolts here and just clean this all up a little bit, but just thought I'll stick it on for now to see what it looks like. But that is what we're looking like so far. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is basically have a look online and just see how all this is routed. So we've got the CDI box up here. I'm pretty sure on the 97 year, it goes in between the engine mounts here. So we'll quickly go online, sort that out, and the next thing we need to go ahead and do is sort out this brake situation. So I've got a brand new pair of lines which have fell down the back of there, but we've got to rebuild the rear caliper because this is the piston that came out of it, absolutely buggered. So we've got a rebuild kit which hopefully is all is all there, and we've got a brand new piston in one of the packages down there. And like I said, all we're going to do for the front is change out these lines. Also, another thing we can do, actually, we'll do that now. We've got the throttle cable. We've got a new throttle housing. It is under here. So we'll go ahead and put this throttle housing on, and we'll do that now. So it's an RFX, new throttle housing, and then we'll connect that up to the new cable. So yeah, we'll get cracking with this, and then we'll start with the brake situation. So with this setup, I used the new throttle housing, and then instead of changing grips, I used the old throttle tube and the new throttle housing. That way I didn't have to mess around changing grips. So that's the throttle all installed. So from left, lovely, go to the right. So that's binding up, so that's what we like. So next up, we're going to go ahead and basically change this front brake line out and put the new ones on. So all I'm going to do is just undo this cap here. It's going to get messy, so I'm going to get the towels out, get as much of this out as possible. Then we'll put the new brake lines on, and then we'll order some fluid to bleed the brakes up, and then we'll go ahead and rebuild the caliper as well. So yeah, let's get all this fluid out of here and go from there. So with a little bit of fiddling, we've managed to sort of get the front brake all lined up. So comes from down here, follow it down through this little section here, through the fork guards there, down here. Now we are missing a bracket that goes onto the actual caliper itself, which then helps you keep that in there like so. So at the minute we've just got this, which I'm going to replace off camera because that's just no good. That's what came with the bike. So what we might as well do now is, seeing as we've got the brake line in, we're going to chuck the mud guard on, chuck the front board on, and then we'll move to the back and do the rear caliper. That needs rebuilding. We need to clear all that up. We also need to put the clutch cable on, so we'll chuck the clutch cable on, then we'll put the front board on, I can't pronounce my words, front mumber board, and go from there. Right, and after bloody hours and hours of trying to get these seals in, it turns out it's all the complete wrong sort of kit. Now, just thought, right, I'll put the rubber seals on the piston, like so, right, to be able to push it in through the caliper that way. Tried to put this in, does not fit the caliper whatsoever. Like, there's no way of this going in. So I thought, right, let's get the old piston, look at the size difference of that. This new brake piston kit is not the right one for this bike whatsoever. The size difference you can see from there, right? Edge and edge, it's miles bigger, this new kit. So this obviously is not the right stuff for this Yamaha yz125. Like I said, got the old seals in. So these are the original seals that I've just put back in. They went in grand. So I'm going to have to buy another rebuild kit and try and figure out what rebuild kit actually fits this. I ordered a 97 yz125 rear brake caliper kit, but this obviously does not fit. This piston is not going in here whatsoever. So that's really annoying. So seeing as I'm going to have to wait for the rear caliper rebuild kit and try and figure out what size I actually need for this, we are going to go ahead and start putting the other little bits and bobs that we can do. So like the chain, sprocket, cover, we can put the radiators on, exhaust system on, front plastics. No, actually, because we need to wait for coolant hoses, we can put the front plastics on. Maybe the exhaust, see if we can get the exhaust on, hand guards, frame guards, that sort of stuff we can go ahead and do now. So put you on a bit of a montage and let's get installed in some of this stuff. So just like that, she is nearly ready to let rip. So next episode, we're going to do the first start. We need to put some coolant in it. We need to drain the transmission oil, refill that. And basically, yeah, it'll be time to see if our little build actually takes place. So like I said, I've just put the plastics on for now, just to see what it looks like. A few jobs left to do. So we need to get a rebuild kit for this that's actually going to fit. So like I said, the piston on that is miles too big. That it doesn't even fit through the actual mechanism on here. So yeah, we need to sort the rear caliper out. That's still to be done. We need to get a set of hoses because we don't have enough hoses. We need to get a new radiator because that radiator is bust. Let me just show you. Basically, it's snapped down at the bottom there. Like, just for a test run next week, it'll work, but we do need to order a new radiator. I might as well. For the sake of 100 quid, you can get a radiator and the hoses together. So we'll order that. Like I said, rear caliper, and then spark plug And that is it, to be basically honest with you. Just the rear calipers left to do. Once the rear calipers built, we can basically go. Got a new air filter in there. Obviously I haven't put any oil or anything like that because we're not ready to start it. Oh, and we do need to get a new kickstart because that's extremely loose from this top bit here. It's just knackered, but for a start up it would do. So yeah, other than that, it's basically about done, and we need to bleed the brake system up. So we'll bleed the brakes next episode because I ain't got any oil with us at the minute. But other than that, she is pretty much nearly ready to go. Like I said, it's all built up. We've gone for the handguards. Let me know down below if you like them or not. So front board, Protect suspension, massive shout out to those guys. So yeah, next episode we'll get it all built up. We'll start it up, go for our first little ride on it. So yeah, it's pretty much near enough ready to do. We're just going to go around, torque all the bolts up, make sure they're all torqued to spec, lube the chain up, and then yeah, look at that, freshy. So like I said, we need hoses from there to there, but other than that, it's pretty much nearly done. So as always, thanks for watching, much appreciated. Don't forget to smash that like, subscribe and comment down below if you enjoyed this video. Like I said, next week we're going to do the first ride, first start up, and let's hope it runs beautiful.